Dr. Pechenik. This is the last week in September, and I want to do a little roundabout. Let's see where we've been around the world and what's happening. So I first go to France, where my good friend Emmanuel Macron, as I predicted, is not doing very well. The very young president who ran on the new France, the new French order, the new Europe, the new world, and really had high tech in mind, is unfortunately losing his popularity. He went from a 60% popularity down to 36%. He has an unemployment among the youth of increasing beyond 25%. And the problem is that he's looking into the future, but it's not addressing the problems of France now. The problem is when he released some of the restrictions on labor, which mandated that you couldn't fire anybody. Once they were able to fire people, then he got an unemployment rate of 25% because of companies like Carrefour, which is a big company. And this is an issue for him to deal with because he doesn't really understand what the French people need at this present time. They need to address the unemployment that they have. They need to address where they can make money, and they have to understand that their growth is not anywhere near 4%. It's about 1.72. So he is, as I said, really wanting in leadership. The second one I go to is Theresa May, the Prime Minister of England, who I felt was not doing very well on Brexit. And second year into the Brexit problem, she is still not doing very well. And the reason for that is I'm not sure she really understands how to develop a strategy for exiting Europe with all the financial and intellectual complexities that are involved. At the same time, she has a problem with determining what the issue is on the Irish border. And that's a very sensitive problem because if she makes a mistake, we go back into an Irish civil war, and we don't need that. Now let's go to somebody whom I have respected for a long time, but I didn't think she was doing well, and that's Chancellor Angela Merkel. Angela Merkel was born in East Germany of Polish parents, actually, and a PhD in nuclear chemistry and nuclear physics. An exceedingly bright woman who really outlasted her time as the Prime Minister and the Chancellor of Germany. She's been in there for about 13, 14 years. And she's had major defections from her own party, primarily the Interior Secretary, which has to do with security, and then a secretary which deals with the environment. But more importantly, she made a major mistake when she invited over 1 million refugees to come into Germany and swamped the actual reform capacity for the new Germany. So what's happening is Germany is switching from the middle and the left to the extreme right, and you have neo-Nazi groups that are beginning to appear on the horizon. That is going to be one of her major problems, and a major problem in all of Europe as populism starts to shift to the right. Then we go to somebody who I've always denigrated, and that is the president or the leader of Myanmar or Burma, named Aung San Suu Kyi. Aung San Suu Kyi, as many of you know, received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1991 because she was under house arrest for well over 8 years for defying the military junta. And when she got into power as a Buddhist, she sanctioned her military, the same Buddhist military that had put her into prison or into seclusion for 8 years, had turned around and either tortured, killed, or created a Holocaust, a genocide of about 1 million Rohingya, or Rohingya, Muslims who fled into Bangladesh. So what we have here is a real problem of the people who really are repeating the mistakes of the past. In the words of a psychiatrist, Dr. Steve, that is called repetition compulsion. In other words, once you make that mistake or you're constantly fibbing, you will continue to fib. And in the words of Nietzsche, let me quote the following: "When the gods are cruel, they grant your wishes. Good night and good luck."
So I'm going to teach you how to just